This is Hannibal here from the Hannibal TV on YouTube with a daily wrestling news update for you. There's a big shakeup in the Vince McMahon, Janelle Grant, the woman that only has 3 pictures in existence in her mid 40s. John Laurinaitis, when he was first accused of being part of this lawsuit by Grant, by the way, the lawsuit's against the WWE, Vince McMahon, and it was against John Laurinaitis. At first, he played the victim. Then he supported Vince. Now again, he's playing the victim. And he will, I guess, testify on behalf of Grant in exchange for his accusations being dismissed. Right now, the lawsuit is on hold because it has to do with an amount of a settlement not being paid. A settlement that was agreed to, but part of the settlement was Grant was not supposed to be allowed to talk about it, which apparently she talked about it. Therefore, Vince McMahon stopped paying the remainder of the settlement. According to the settlement agreement, it is supposed to be contested in arbitration, not a whole new lawsuit. So right now, it's on hold until a judge decides if it's going to proceed with a lawsuit or go to arbitration, which it was supposed to be resolved in our arbitration, according to the settlement agreement. Some people are like, oh my God, Vince is screwed, blah, 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 blah. I'm not on anyone's side in this. There's definitely shady stuff to do with everyone involved in this. I just don't think that whatever Vince ends up paying to either settle this or if it does go to court and he has to pay a legal fee, which I do believe if it did proceed to court, he would settle it. Why would he bother dragging himself through court unless he wants to exonerate himself? But at this stage of his life, in his 80s, does he really want to waste years battling this in court? I don't know, but he's a multi-billionaire. He's not facing any jail time in this. So for the people saying, oh, Vince is going to be screwed, etc., blah, 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 blah. Millions of dollars, a couple million, 2-3 million is less than a penny to a guy like Vince. In the end, it doesn't amount to much. The worst thing that's happened to it for Vince was him being ousted from WWE. Now there's talk he might be involved with the TKO Boxing League that Saudi Arabia is funding. But by no means is Vince a multi-billionaire in his 80s going to be quote unquote finished. He's whatever he would have to pay, even if it's the most amount, is a drop in the bucket for him. And they haven't even decided if this is going to go to arbitration or a lawsuit or not. Johnny Ace has always been known as a shady individual. That's his reputation in wrestling. I didn't like my personal dealings with him. I thought he was a complete asshole, even though he was the one that ultimately hired me in WWE before my contract was rescinded. I had some encounters where I felt he went like above the line to try and just make you feel like crap. Like I thought he was a very mean, slimy individual. And then I can't see him ever working in wrestling again. So I'm sure he did save his money well. He lost his wife, who was the Bella's mother's, out of this. I know he was married before. I was friends with his brother, Road Warrior Animal. He called me just a few days before he died. Road Warrior Animal, in my dealings with him, was a totally great human being. Not at all like the politician that Johnny Ace was, and basically a bully. And if you look at the dressing room and the time when Johnny Ace was running it, you had the guys like Holly and Bradshaw bullying everyone and all kinds of weird stuff going on backstage. He didn't run it well. And the guy that did run it well in talent relations was Jim Ross, who Conrad Thompson has confirmed Jim Ross had a successful cancer operation. I wish they'd never removed Jim Ross from that position. He hired some of the best, the most successful wrestlers of all time, including Brock Lesnar and The Rock. So yeah, I'll stop my Johnny Ace rant. Apparently, John Cena is featured on the WWE Night of Champions pay-per-view for Saudi Arabia. At one point, he was saying he would never go to Saudi Arabia. Pretty much everyone's gone back on that now, for better or worse. The whole situation with the sports washing, whatever you want to call it, for Saudi Arabia works. I mean, I've never been there, and I don't pretend to be a scholar, so I'm not going to say I know much about Saudi Arabia to begin with, other than they're a little behind in the human rights, from what I understand. Yet Johnny Ace will do whatever he can to get himself dismissed. So, but again, even if Vince is fully found guilty, like, he's a multi-billionaire and he's not facing any criminal repercussions out of this. So this is just basically a news story in the end. I find Janelle Grant highly suspicious that she was married during this same thing, staying in the building that Vince lived in, or had a fiance. She lived with her fiance a few floors below Vince, and this went on for years. I don't know if Vince. I mean, Vince is still one of the majority stockholders, if not the majority stockholder. He has a lot of WWE stock. I would hope Vince would try and start his own league personally. No, Janelle Grant is not a saint. She's definitely not a saint, and I'm sorry, but if you're in your mid-40s and you only have 3 pictures, something weird is up there. In other news, BJ Penn, here's a weird story. Apparently, he's having mental health issues, and his mother, UFC legend BJ Penn, apparently he thinks his mother died or something, and is actually someone else impersonating his mother. He has apparently lost it that much to the point where she's had to get a restraining order against him. From what I understand, Tom Lawler saying on the Wrestling Observer today, who I've wrestled Tom Lawler, I trust his word. I mean, who knows? I'm not familiar with him, but I do know in the documentary on Vince McMahon, Steve Austin said he did not believe in CTE. I can tell you it's a real thing. I've been around the old time wrestlers and fighters enough to know that CTE is a real thing, and when you mix it with other concoctions, you can really have issues. So I wish BJ Penn luck in that. Let me know what you guys think. I mean, for everyone celebrating, oh, Grant is sure to win now. Well, it's not even secure that it's going outside of arbitration. It may end up just going to arbitration, and we might get a quiet arbitration verdict, or in all likelihood, it's going to be settled in one way or another. I mean, yeah, who knows? I feel bad for anyone with any of those problems, and I wish them the best.